The time is 6:02. I'd like to call the meeting of the Matawan Aberdeen Regional School District Board of Education to order. Can you please, actually, I'll do that. Notice, the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or agreed upon. In accordance with the provision of this act, the Matawan Aberdeen Regional School District Board of Education advertised this meeting on June 4, 2020 in the Asbury Park Press and the Star Ledger. This notice was sent to the municipal clerks of the Borough of Matawan, Township of Aberdeen, and the Matawan Aberdeen Public Library. This notice was also placed on the district's website. Can you please do roll call?
Mr. Ahern? Here. Ms. Ascoli?
Here.
Mr. Brenham? Ms. Martinez?
Here.
Mr. Monton?
Do we have
Mr. Monton?
Here.
Thank you. Ms. Osborne?
Here.
Ms. Whalen?
Here.
Ms. Moore?
Here.
Ms. Freeman?
Here.
Thank you.
Do we have minutes?
We do have minutes.
Okay. I'd like to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to keep the board president's report short and sweet. As I saw Dr. Micah's letter, there will be an in-person graduation on the 8th and 9th of July for the high school in Mans. As to the order of events or times, that's still something that we need to determine, but I guess patience is a virtue, where I appreciate, again, the patience that not only this board has had, but that parents and the children have had as well. Not knowing what's going on is its own stress. As you can see, Dr. Micah is not able to be with us tonight, but he is certainly here in spirit. So I wish him luck in what he's dealing with right now. And I also just want to wish everybody luck. I think this is the last board meeting before we officially end the school year. It has been crazy. It has been unprecedented. It has brought out, I think, the best in people, and it really is a time where I am truly proud to be president of this board, truly proud to be part of this district, not just as a board member, but as a parent. And again, I have nothing but thank yous to the administration, to the teachers, to the parents, and to the kids that have continued to work together to make everything as easy and seamless as possible. And that includes pickup, which I've seen and heard all good things. And hopefully we can end this year with some special celebrations, and there will be more to come on that as we finalize details with things. I know we have some presentations tonight. I believe I'm kicking that to you. All right, Mr. Ferrer, do you mind taking over?
Yes. Do we want to do minutes first?
Oh, always forget about the minutes. I'm going to use your.
Yep.
We have minutes to accept for the Committee of the Whole minutes and executive meeting minutes on April 6, 2020. Regular action and executive meeting minutes from April 27, 2020. Committee of the Whole minutes, May 11th, 2020, as well as the executive minutes from that day. Regular action meeting minutes from May 18th, as well as the executive meeting minutes on May 18th. Can I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Ahern and Ms. Osborne?
All those,
Discussion.
anybody have any comments or questions regarding the minutes?
No. No.
Seeing none, you want to take a vote on that?
Thank you. Mr. Ahern?
Yes.
Ms. Ascoli?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez?
Yes.
Ms. Monson?
Yes.
Ms. Osborne?
Yes.
Ms. Whalen?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Friedman?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so for the first presentation, it is the presentation by the Ed Foundation with reference to their annual grant programs.
Dance and coping, music, language arts, learning through physical activity, business and entrepreneurship, and citizen and character building. The foundation awarded 10 grants for the 2019-2020 school year, totaling $7,300, and all 7 schools in the district received 1 or more grants. We sincerely thank our grant awardees for their engagement this year and for preparing the follow-up slides to present their grant project this evening with education.
Each preschool classroom received a need box containing a seed-to-table lesson built around the STEAM curriculum with all ingredients and materials included. Through hands-on planting and cooking, children were connected with the origin of food and encouraged to explore, experiment, and learn about new foods. Each box contained fresh produce, ingredients, and tools to engage the students in an interactive experience. During one science lesson, the students used their senses to discover similarities and differences between various seasonal vegetables. The students learned about the importance of water and plant survival during another lesson. They discussed their predictions and observations while participating in an experiment involving food color, water, and salt. They loved being scientists. Thank you, Matawan Aberdeen Educational Foundation, for awarding a grant to benefit preschool students at Cambridge Park and Cliffwood Avenue Elementary Schools.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Preiser, and I teach 3rd grade at Strathmore Elementary School. I want to start by thanking the Matawan Aberdeen Educational Foundation for their very generous grant, and I want to thank the Board of Education members for your time in sharing our story. So this grant was part of a program run by UNICEF called Get Active, Save Lives. The foundation purchased for our class a set of activity bands. The activity bands track the students' steps, and then through an app, UNICEF can monitor how many steps we take as a collective. Once we reach certain step goals, UNICEF donates a box of therapeutic food packets to an area of the world where children are hungry. The kids were so excited when they received their Fitband, and they immediately embraced the idea that access to food is a human right. And they were also so excited by the concept that even as children, they could still play a role as global citizens. Not only did they wear their activity bands obsessively, but they also began campaigning around the school. They developed a slogan and a logo. We used a community bulletin board to help the other kids in the school see our goals and track our progress and inspire them also. Some kids even presented in other classrooms and in the teacher's lounge. So at the end of this year, I will be able to collect the activity bands that the kids are still wearing and still tracking steps. And then next year in the fall, I can start this process over with a whole new group of students. I've been teaching a long time, and I can say this experience was one of the best experiences of my life, and it was truly life-changing for all of us. So thank you again for your time and for your generous grant. Good evening. On behalf of the Aberdeen Drive School family, Mrs. D'Agostino, and myself, we would like to thank the Matawan Aberdeen Education Foundation for the gift of their grant that enabled us to purchase a new sensory path. A sensory path consists of several exercises specifically designed to improve motor skills while presenting them in a colorful environment. The path was used to help both students with sensory processing needs regulate their moods and activity levels, and for brain breaks for their typically developing peers. Sensory paths assist those that need to increase their physical energy as well as those that need to calm and organize their minds. Sensory paths help all students build connections within the brain by using all 5 senses. These connections enable children to complete complex multi-stage tasks, which in turn present a higher level playing field within the classroom. Sensory pads also help students to develop motor skills such as balance, hand-eye coordination, and spatial awareness, all while helping children sit still and focus for longer periods of time in the classroom. The students were thrilled to see it, and I know they are looking forward to using it again this fall.
Hi everyone, my name is Lisa Schultz, and this year I taught the 3rd grade self-contained gifted and talented class at Cliffwood Elementary School. This year I applied for my first grant and asked for Kiva planks. These are wooden planks that come in a bin of 1,000 planks, and I was super excited when I found out that we would be receiving this grant and these awesome building blocks. My kids had an amazing year working with these blocks. We used them for all kinds of activities, anything from design challenges in science. We used them for STEM activities. We used them in math. We partnered with a kindergarten class on the 100th day of school, and my kids designed a lesson where we broke into 10 groups, and we counted out 100 planks for each group. And the challenge was to brainstorm with the kindergartners and have them create their own contraption using the planks and a ball. And that day was just one that I'll always remember. It was amazing watching the 3rd graders and the kindergartners interact and use these building blocks. We even used these, there was a day where the 3rd grade teachers planned a rotation day in December. And all the 3rd grade classes were able to rotate and visit each 3rd grade classroom, and the teacher had a lesson plan for each class. So I, of course, wanted to incorporate the Kiva planks into my lesson so that all the 3rd graders could experience working with these blocks. And it was just such a fun day. The kids all loved it so much. I love that these planks can be shared across classrooms and grade levels. The bin is on wheels, so it can easily be transported. And my kids especially just had an incredible year with these blocks. I don't think there was a single day that went by that someone wasn't building with these blocks. My kids used every opportunity that they could. They would use their snack time to build. If I gave them a stretch break, even if it was something like a 2-minute stretch break, some of them would go right to the bin and start creating either a new contraption, or they would add to their existing tower or building for creation. And really, it was just so wonderful to see the endless creative possibilities that these kids would just create using these blocks. So on behalf of myself and my class, thank you so much, Madeline Abatement Educational Foundation.
Saying that they can't hear or understand.
Thank you so much to the Abatement Educational Foundation for their very generous grant to purchase the tabla. Tabla is a drum from India. It is part of the percussion family, and it is commonly used in many different styles of Indian music. In order to play the tabla, students in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade learn spoken syllables that coincide with hand techniques for the drum. One syllable will represent playing in the center of the drum, and another syllable will represent playing on the edge of the drum. There is high emphasis on hearing something orally and then implementing that into playing it then on the drum in India. So the students really enjoyed practicing that type of technique and then putting it into an actual performance.
The day of Edgar Allan Poe. On Monday, December 9, 2020, 8th grade
Edgar Allan Poe as his famous story, Telltale Heart, was put on trial. Miss Helena McKenna impersonated Mr. Poe, and Judge Evil made sure to hold order in court as students discussed, questioned, and debated whether or not the narrator of the story was innocent by reason of his narrative. After many trial and tribulation, it was finally determined that the murder was committed in cold blood. Thank you to the Mason Fund for providing our students with such a unique and wonderful opportunity. Not only did students get to see live the story that they had read, but they also got to be a part of and interact with, and really get to feel and participate in. The crowd went wild as Miss McKenna impersonated Mr. Poe and put on her performance.
I was awarded a grant to purchase a cricket cutting machine, easy press, and crafting materials for special education students to work with their peers to design and manufacture placard decals and t-shirts for the high school. The machine was introduced to the Beer Buddy Club, and they practiced by designing and making onesies for their speech therapists. We started training staff and students in their life skills classes on the use of the machine, and they had just begun their placard decal projects when the quarantine began. We also had designed a logo and planned to produce shirts for Autism Awareness Month in April. We're looking forward to returning to school and using these materials for many more projects next year. Thank you for your generous grant and has provided special needs students with an opportunity to express themselves through technology and creativity while working on learning new job skills. The Foundation trustees appreciate the effort and time our grant recipient teachers spent on creating these slides to explain their grant project. Despite the challenges of this school year due to 3 months of at-home online learning, it was wonderful to see what the students were able to do and how engaged they were in their grant project. To recognize the teachers' efforts, the Foundation presented certificates to each participating teacher and plaques for each grant to display in the school. Finally, the trustees would like to take this opportunity to recognize a special donation. In November 2019, the Foundation received a very generous donation of $15,000. Matawan residents Mary Lou and Ginny Sang, parents of children who attend Ravine Drive and Cambridge Park Elementary Schools, kindly selected MAEF to receive this one-time charitable donation from Mary's employer. The Foundation sincerely thanks Mary and her employer for their outstanding support.
Hey folks, so I appreciate everybody's patience with reference to the audio on this. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of feedback. I don't know if there was a mic that was connected or something. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to post this on the district's website as well. Once again, we appreciate all the work that the teachers did and the Ed Foundation did to kind of put this together. And we just want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to see it. So that's what we're going to do going forward. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Perez, and she will lead us through the special ed presentation. Go ahead, Ms. Escalante.
Okay. Well, first off, I just wanted to say thank you to the Matawan Aberdeen Education Educational Foundation for all their hard work this year in raising money for the grants so that the students can have these wonderful opportunities. And then also on behalf of the Mattawan Aberdeen Educational Foundation and the school district, wanted to say thank you to Ms. Liu and Mr. Zhang for selecting the foundation to be the recipient of this very, very generous donation. A donation like this will really go a long way to offer wonderful educational opportunities to our students. And I believe Ms. Liu would also like to say a few words.
Thank you. We're actually new to Jersey. We just actually moved like about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years. So I'm really happy that my kids are attending the school district, and seeing all this opportunity is really heartwarming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, I do apologize.
Thank you very much.
I do apologize for the sound issue. We were trying to troubleshoot it back here to figure out what we could do to make it better. The work that the Educational Foundation does is amazing. And the initiative that the teachers take to apply for these grants is given so many opportunities to our kids that it's all around just amazing work done by a lot of people. So again, I thank the Ed Foundation very much. I certainly appreciate everything that they do to enrich the lives of our students, and with their events that typically I look forward to every spring. We clearly got the kibosh this year, but they've had some amazing events that when things return back to normal, I look forward to being able to attend. So again, thank you very much to the Educational Foundation and the teachers, and we will put this up on our website without the feedback.
Ms. Perez?
Hey everyone, I hope you'll be able to hear me clearly, but if not, we'll do this, we'll post this as well. This is a special education government report, annually we need to report on results in regards to performance targets specific to special ed. So right here it explains a little bit under IDEA that we must report annually to the public on the performance of each district in relation to the state targets, specifically to state performance plan and the annual performance report. So some of the information will look very similar to what Mr. Ballinger had presented earlier on here in regards to annual report. This is the 9th year in which the department has been publishing these reports. So I'll share a little bit about where we are tonight and where we would like to be. So in regards, I mentioned, you can move to the next slide, I already said this part, sorry. Okay, so basically with the special ed report, there are several indicators that they're looking to see if we're meeting, and you do a comparison between the local data, which is our school district, in comparison with the state target. And it will tell us different areas if we met the state target or if we have not. Overall, throughout the presentation, we did start to review prior data, so we are narrowing some of the gaps in these particular areas. There are definite areas that we still need to continue to work on. And also in comparison to other districts in the state of New Jersey, we're pretty much in line when it comes to our special ed population. Alex, if you could go back to that last slide. Back. Next one. The next one. Sorry. So as you can see, no, Alex, the last one, stay with it.
Sorry.
The first indicator is our graduation rates. We did not meet that target. However, I need everyone to understand, and we've had this discussion prior in past years, that our students who are participating with us until age 21 are counted against us in regards to this graduation. Some of them, if they're staying until 21, that means that it's beyond the 4-year graduation. So we did not meet that target. As we had about 9 students participated last year. we provided a little bit more information in regards to the number of students from year to year who were tested, and students who participated in those cohorts, and that we listed the numbers in grades 3 as well. That gives you the total number of students participating in one cohort. Under suspension of expulsion, that's performance over here that they're going where they done. The question is if we have a significant discrepancy in rates of suspensions and expulsions of children with IEP for greater than 10 cases, and we do not. And 4B is suspension and expulsion compliance indicator. Again, we have any significant discrepancies by race or ethnicity in the rate of suspensions. We do not. So this is very well with that rate. In regards to policies and procedures and practices that contribute to significant discrepancies that don't comply with the requirements, and that we are meeting. So which the end means that we have met those targets and that those particular areas, which I'm happy to say because that goes to a lot of the work that we've been doing with our MAT, our strategic plan in terms of focusing on specific populations like the rest of us. Under school age LRE, which means least restrictive environment. So when students who are identified with IEPs, we are always looking and striving to place students in our least restrictive environment. Their least restrictive environment would be in a general education classroom and an inclusion classroom. Then most restrictive would be a pull-out, self-contained, and then an acquisition. So the slide breaks it down in regards to percentage of students with IEPs inside the regular ed class. 80% of the day we did not meet the target in that particular area, but there was a significant gain in regards to the data from last year. Percentage of children with IEPs inside the regular ed class, less than 40%. No, but as you can see, we're pretty close in terms of the state target in that particular area. Under item C, children with IEPs served in a public or private school setting hospital placements and met. Under preschool, least restrictive environment, this is the first year since I've been here, over the course of 4 years, where we met both targets in this particular area. This is, and this is just a test. We're just stating that here that what we're doing with the preschool, in terms of how we change some of the classroom settings, how we have more inclusion classroom, this is exactly, that's all that work is tracked. So the percentage of students in This is the middle school, the high school performance report card. Mr. Eiler and we sent out a letter we informed the board in regards to that the high school was the young target that we are working with under the annual school performance group. So basically, what we're working on is in the area of testing for special ed that we do not need. Kids are not meeting efficiency for most of the students, so they are part of the next slide. So we were identified as a school in need of comprehensive or targeted support and improvement. Our area is targeted support. Under the targeted support for improvement, we're looking at the ELA efficiency targets between 17, 18, 18, 19, math proficiency, 4-year graduation rate, 5-year graduation rate, chronic absenteeism as well. So those are, when we're working with the Department of Education, we're looking at those particular areas and how we can narrow the gaps and close those gaps for students and assist them in terms of scoring proficiency on state testing. What we did want to say that I wanted to note in here that we are narrowing the gaps, but we continue to see that as a challenge for special education. Since we are part of the target support and improvement, the high school is doing the following preparation for the 2021 school year. We formed a school planning team, which consists of teachers, administrators, and parents. We've had 2 meetings, well, 1 meeting that looked back over. Prior to that, we've been meeting with administration and high school and sometimes and boss. We conduct regular school planning meetings each week to ensure that we're continuing to work on the plan. And the plan will include our several components that include evaluating prior year interventions and the data analysis from year to year where we're performing, particularly for special education. We are looking at school growth as well as the function rubric. We'll be using that. We will conduct a needs assessment for the school. We will identify priority performance needs and conduct a root cause analysis. And we will be required to create specific goals, smart, measurable, attainable, SMART goals. And we will create a budget to include resources and materials that are needed to effectively implement the school plan. Furthermore, to support the students and support our staff in regards to teaching strategies and professional development. The plan will be submitted this month, June 30th. We received $10,000 in Title I school improvement aid to support the implementation of our action plan for the 2021 school year. The high school may exit, I need to note this, that they may exit the targeted support and improvement status by June of 2021, pending plan approval and the results of the district accountability data. So essentially, once the kids are tested, we'll then review the data to see if we made any gains in specific areas. We do plan, knowing that the information that I should require in terms of specific areas in language arts and math, where we're not meeting targets, we plan to utilize this plan that we created at the high school and bring it down to middle school, but also particularly BOE Road, where we identify that there is a need to close those gaps a lot before the end of the school. So some of the interventions that we are looking forward with
there any questions from board members? If you could just sort of raise your hand first and go in order. Not seeing, oh, Ms. Osborne.
All right, okay, I have a question. I know that, in getting maybe since the third or fourth slide, when we talked about the numbers, there was one there that showed that we was like 16.0, but the range to reach was like 15. Why wasn't it met if we were over that target?
I have to go back to the slide. I'm not clear on the slide. Are you talking, referring to graduation or performance?
This one right here, the B, percent of children with IEP, you see it's like 16.1, state target is 15, but it's in meet. Why is that?
My computer just went back on.
Okay, it's okay.
There we go. Set comments. Oh, 16.1. So we had to be below the 15.
Okay.
So that's what's confusing with this, I find confusing with this report, because in certain areas you have to be either below or above state target. It's not consistent throughout each.
Okay,
That's what's.
okay, thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions? I'm not seeing any hands. I'm told, getting some messages back that Mr. Ferreira and I are cutting in and out. If that should happen and you can't hear something, if you can indicate either interrupting or just giving me a wave so that I know what's being heard and what isn't. I'll try and speak slower, maybe that will help.
Are you looking at the chat questions?
I am, I see that as well.
Okay, so I need to really look at it better. This is like so quick that I can't take it all in at once. Thank you.
That's how I was as well. You're asking if the report will be shared with us. Are you meaning the ones on the slide? So that is actually public information? Yes, I first.
Just so I can kind of look it over, like I said, if I can ask questions at another time or,
That's fine.
okay.
So what we can do is we can email the board the actual report that's online at the Department of Education. That's where I get it from. I'll share that as well as the PowerPoint. And then if you have any additional questions, I'm more than happy to.
Thank you.
So that ends our presentation. Mr. Peters still here? He is. Okay. Okay. So we normally would go to our student representatives report, and I'm happy to see that Mr. Peters is on. I saw his name, yay. Like everything else at the end of the year, this is not how we intended it on it going. We have a certificate that I'm sad to say will be mailed to Mr. Peters. This is not exactly how I intended your tenure here to go, and I'm really sorry for that. Believe me, if there's anything in my power that could have stopped this, it would have been there. But I do want to thank you for the work that you have done. I do appreciate it, and I also want to give you the opportunity to, say any parting remarks, anything that you've wanted to say over the last 3 months and couldn't. But I do wish you luck, and the board thanks you for the work that you were able to put in while the world was normal. So, is there anything that you'd like to say?
Personally, I would like to thank every member of the board for their outgoing support with me as a student body representative. I really appreciate the opportunity that I was given by the student body of MRHS, and I'm 100% grateful for this opportunity. And through it all, I think I've learned a lot about like administrative work and working with students individually to help make the school environment a better place. And for that, I'm more than grateful.
And I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that you were able to get something out of it. I certainly have missed you. I think I've called on you a couple of times only to be reminded that you're not here. So, you know, we all wish you a ton of luck, and normally we'd be able to say this in person, but I am happy that since we will have in-person graduation, we will see each other again. So that is always positive.
Thank you, Anthony. Congratulations.
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 Thank you.
Okay, we're good there. Mr. Bombardier, that brings us to you for curriculum and instruction, please, for the agenda.
Sure, good evening. So starting with Part A, we do have travel. We have 2 travel items. One staff member attending the 2020 NJSBO Annual Conference, and one board member attending the NJSBA Spring School Law Forum. That's a virtual workshop. That's all for Part A. For Part B, travel, there are a large number of items. So rather than reading out a full resolution, each of the items are for approval. So we're looking to approve these programs for the 2020-2021 school year, and then I'll review each program and the rationale and the organization, a little bit more information about what the program is and how we like to do it. So item number 1 under curriculum instruction, we're asking the board to approve the contract with all combined for the 2021 school year. Item number 2, we're asking the board to approve the renewal contract with Rubicon Atlas curriculum mapping software for the following school year. Item number 3 is asking the board to approve the subscription renewal for BrainPop for the following school year. Item number 8 is asking the board to approve the renewal for ISROs for the following school year. Item number 5 is asking the board to approve the subscription renewal for Learning Ally for Cliffwood Original Middle School for the following school year. Item number 6 is asking the board to approve EE typing for grades K and 1 for the upcoming school year. Item number 7 is asking the board to approve Linkit, the data management and assessment system for the district for the upcoming school year. Item number 8 is asking the board to approve educational software for guided instruction, ESPI, for kindergarten teachers for the upcoming school year. Item number 9 is asking the board to approve the subscription renewal for Mystery Science for K-5 students for the upcoming school year. Item number 10 is asking the board to approve the dynamic indicator for basic early literacy skills, also known as DIMMs. We use the screen and progress monitoring tool for students in K-3 for the upcoming school year. And number 11 is asking the board to approve the subscription renewal for RAS Kids Plus, also known as Learning A-Z, for grades K-5 for the upcoming school year. And number 12 is asking the board to approve the subscription for No Red Ink for grades 6 through 12 for the upcoming school year. Item number 13 is asking the board to approve STEM strokes as an instructional resource for middle school science instruction for the upcoming school year. Item number 14 is asking the board to approve IXL student licenses for grades 6 through 12 for the next year. Item number 15 is asking the board to approve the renewal for Rethink, a proprietary web-based training curriculum and tracking platform for special needs students for the next school year. Item number 16 is asking the board to approve Seesaw for schools for grades K and 1. Seesaw is a Roman elementary similar to Google Classroom. That's the user virtual learning assessment. Item number 17 is asking the board to approve a second section of the American Sign Language course at Matterhorn Regional High School for the upcoming school year. We previously approved one section back in May 2020, and now we're asking for an additional section. New student interest in this new course model. Item number 18 is asking the board to approve Ed Puzzle for grades 6 through 12. This is a new platform that was recommended by the Technology Committee for grades 6 through 12 for the upcoming school year. Item number 19 is asking the board to approve the renewal for the Unique Learning System, an online interactive standard-based curriculum for students with special needs for pre-K through 12 for the upcoming 20 is asking the board to approve the renewal for Newsella for grades 4 through 12 for the upcoming school year. Item number 21 is asking the board to approve ST Math from the Mind Research Institute and online interactive curriculum for special needs students in grades 3 through 8 for next year. Item number 22 is asking the board to approve Math Space, an online math program for special needs students for the upcoming school year. Item number 23 is asking the board to approve iReady online reading and math diagnostic instructional program for grades K to 8 in the 2020-2021 school year. This will be iReady diagnostic for reading and math for all students in grades K to 5, as well as the iReady diagnostic for the middle school. And this is part of the program that we are now adopting Ready Math next year. But when we do adopt Ready Math, the subscription for the iReady math instructional component will be but because of virtual learning, this will be students' personal pathway throughout the summer and all through next year for the fall. Item number 24 is asking the board to approve the Ready Classroom Math pilot. Although we did make a decision not to move ahead with full implementation, the teachers that were piloting Ready Math this year have requested to continue that next year, and that will put us in a better position when we do adopt, so we have that information and the pilot feedback continuing. Item number 25 is asking the board to approve the teacher toolbox subscription for reading and writing for grades K to 8 for the 2020-21 school year. And this is a component that will allow the teachers access to the digital collection of K to 8 resources for instruction. Item number 26 is asking the board to approve the following academic support programs for the 2020-21 school year: Courtney Gillingham, Wilson Reading, Linda Newbell, Visualizing and Visualizing, Foundation, Connecting Math. One more on my copy. Let's see at the bottom. So as we know, those are reapproval of programs that do not have an additional cost included. Item number 27 is asking the board to approve the district membership to the Monmouth University Principal Academy for the upcoming school year. Item number 28 is asking the board to approve the membership to the Monmouth University Superintendent's Academy for the upcoming school year. Item number 29 is asking the board to approve the membership to the Monmouth University Central Jersey Consortium for Excellence in Equity and Education membership for the upcoming school year. That will provide our students and our student equity leaders an opportunity to participate in collaboration with other students to promote equity projects and to implement an equity project within the university. And item number 30 is asking the board to approve the memberships to the Monmouth County Curriculum Consortium for the following school year. And that is all for curriculum.
Item 26 is reading mastery.
Thank you. Thank you. So that additional information that we need, so that's one of the support programs that we
Can I have a motion and a second to accept the curriculum and instruction agenda?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
second.
Okay, and I would like to do any comments or questions as to curriculum and instruction agenda. I know there were,
There's a question in the chat from a community member.
okay, I'm not quite there yet.
Okay,
That comes at questions from the public on agenda items.
I'm sorry, I forget how the system is.
It's okay, everything has been a little off-center, so we're just adjusting as we can, trying to maintain some continuity. I know that there were a number of questions submitted by board members as to cost in the process. So Mr. Bombardier, I would just ask if you could touch on what the administration does in how you decide what curriculum is necessary, and you know, if for every piece of curriculum do we get rid of some curriculum? If you could just explain some of that a little further for anybody who might be wondering about it.
So we have a system and a committee, a protocol in place for the approval of new programs, similar to textbooks, the approval process that goes through. Our district has formed a district technology committee. We do have a district technology lead to each school. Part of that process this year is adding new online programs. For example, Puzzle, as you can see on the agenda, is one program that teachers opportunity needs, and we use the existing programs that we have in place to ensure that we're not replicating a program and spending on a program that we already have or that can do something similar to what we already have. We have made a decision to be conscious of finances. As an example, this year, Reflex Math is a program that we've been using for several years. That was a significant cost of about $15,000. And now with iReady and purchasing the iReady instructional math software, we no longer need to continue with the Reflex Math. Discovery Education was another program we've been using for additional 3 years. And now with additional online resources such as STEM scopes and gizmos that give you the simulation to back on some of the other programs. So the committee does make a recommendation for a new program. We do determine what data is collected as far as the new program, how that aligns with logging in for students, what data is collected on both ends, and then we make a recommendation. So a lot of the programs that you see on the agenda are for all students, both gen ed and special ed. Some of them are more specialized programs than others that we do need to ensure that we meet the needs of our special needs students, our ESL students, as well as our gen ed students. If there is a need that's identified, for example, we have a site license at a particular school, we are able to utilize licenses for at least a student with different schools like that. So that's just the process for how we vet and control the program, and we'll continue to do that. And then we've also been launching the usage reports to make sure that student login usage and teacher login usage is where we expect it to be and get feedback from students.
Thank you. And the fact that we're hearing about a technology committee and we're adding technology to the curriculum, we don't know what September is going to look like. So we're just trying to prepare for everything. Is that fair?
Exactly, and one of the benefits of iReady is that the students for the iReady instructional, once they take the diagnostic, they're placed in the program at their individual level. So the program is adaptive. That means the students in grades K-5 will have the iReady math and reading instructional component that will guide them on a trajectory that's based upon their initial level throughout the summer and into the fall. So depending on how we come back in the fall, and regardless if we're in person or virtual or hybrid, these programs will ensure that the students have an individualized pathway that's geared to their specific needs, and the teachers will have access to that data. So the teachers that are doing the summer programs and the teachers at the schools in the fall will be able to review the usage, see how they perform in each standard, and use that to differentiate post small groups, and then use the lesson plan component that most of these programs have to deliver small groups.
Excellent, thank you. Does any other board members have any questions regarding curriculum and instruction?
I don't have any questions, but I just wanted to say, John, thank you. I know I asked a lot on earlier, and you answered all my questions. And I also wanted to say thank you for putting. I had mentioned it another time about when we renew a subscription. That helps a lot because then we know that it's not new, and we lose track. There's so many, so I appreciate you putting that word in there.
Okay, Ms. Perez, Special Services?
Under Special Services, under item number 1, we're asking the board approval for that columns listed and the account number listed, and that is for the service program. Under item number 2, we're recommending that the board approve the following agreements with the following providers for the 2020-2021 school year on an as-needed basis. Included in this list, it starts on page staff members will be recertified, and they are our trainers for the, basically it's a train-the-trainer program. They will train the remainder of the staff in district, with handle the care, and that is really, de-escalation techniques, as well as if needed, if any changes needed, or needed, there are changes. On page 8 of 9, under item number 5, we're asking for board approval for the following provider for the 2021 school year to incorporate yoga, a holistic approach to provide student wellness and overall healthy habits. The yoga provider is listed along with the accounts. As you can see, there's a local account as well as a grant-funded account. So this leaves the option or that we would like to provide those services in district, and we've identified those students that need some of the meditation or this course wellness, we would be able to incorporate that here in district as well. Under item number 6, we're asking for board approval for the memorandum of understanding between the district and the Center for Vocational Rehabilitation, which provides vocational skills and training as part of the structured learning experience for our special education students. We have an estimated cost of $60 per student per day, and we can send them to 20 students throughout the school year. Typically, students are going 2 to 3 times a week, and they are from the high school. Under item number 7, we're asking for board approval for the membership of the Association of Recovery High School, Recovery Schools, but it should be the 2020-21 school year, and that is one of the associations that we collaborate, we seek feedback and input for our KEYS program. Under item number 8, we're asking for board approval for the agreement with the Valley Bay YMCA contract for the 2021 school year. These students will go to YMCA as part of one of their special education programs for the pool, the cafe, the gymnasium, fitness center, and hot rooms. Those are typically scheduled throughout the year, starting in the fall. Under item number 9, we're asking for board approval for the 2021 school year for the following provider, which is Spur, Sunnyside Equestrian Center, and Spur Marquis program. The cost is listed, and this date should be September 2020 to 2021. Under item number 10, we're asking for board approval for the service contract for the 2021 school year. This is a renewal with Veteran School Solutions. The cost is listed, and this is providing in-district therapeutic services for students at both Mans and high school for a total of 36 students. A little bit more information in regards to Veteran School Solution. It is a clinical therapeutic service that students are receiving individual group counseling as well as family therapy as well. In addition to extended school year, as well as professional development for all staff throughout the school district in regards to topics such as self-regulation, mental health with our youth, family dynamics, dealing with mental health in the home, behavior management, etc. Under item number 11, we're asking for board approval for participation for the Person Center for Schools in Transition task force, which is with the Department of Education. We were selected for the 2020-2021 school year. This is free at no cost. The facilitators will come in to our district and provide training and professional development to our child study team members, teachers, and additional staff. So ensuring that we are doing meetings that are strength-based and that we're identifying areas of strength for students to successfully transition from basic to either post-secondary or and again, that's a non-positive. That concludes special services. Thank you.
I get a motion and a second to accept the special services agenda.
I'll second.
Are there any questions or comments from the board at this time on the special services agenda? If you can just indicate not seeing any. Back, okay. So we had a battery change, so we're good. Mr. Liebman, can you take us through personnel, but right before you start, the questions that the public puts into the chat, we will get to when it's time for public comment. So if there are people listening who want to put additional questions in there, we will get to them after we finish presenting the agendas. Mr. Liebman, it's all yours.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. In our personnel section A, we have one retirement effective date under section B, absence and one staff absence effective dates listed. Under section C, right into the Title I, additional hours, 2019 to 2020, we have 3 staff members listed requesting additional hours for this school year. Under item 2, college student observers for the 2021 school year. 2 names are listed, both are district staff members who will be completing their administrative internship in the district. Item number 3 is to approve 1 staff member for the AP English Language Mock Exam Administration. Item number 4, under extracurricular, non-athletics, we're asked to approve the stipend. There's an additional change to the section. It should be 2018-2019 retro, in addition to 2019-2020 and 2021. Item number 5, the HIB anti-bullying specialists for 2021 school year. The names and locations is listed. You'll notice that there are additional names to each school. This will we have an alternate for each HIB specialist. Item number 6, staff array changes for the 1920 school year. 2 staff members are listed with their assignment and effective dates to cover a leave. Item number 7, other. Section A is to approve the HIB report from the May 18th board meeting. 7B is personnel attachment number 1, which is the staff listing for school year 2021. Item C is the attachment number 2, which is the district mentoring program, which gets approved each school year. This is for school year 2021. Item letter D is the summer 2020 general education ESY staff recommendations, which is personnel attachment number 3. There's one additional correction to the attachment. It's under item number 1 for the middle school counselor. It should be 10 hours per week for 6 weeks, or 60 hours. Letter E is the summer 2020 curriculum writing revisions staff recommendations, which is personnel attachment number 4. Letter F, administrative contracts for school year 2021 with 3 positions listed. Item G is the revised district public health ribbon school closure plan with rationales listed. Item H, we are recommending the board to approve the following job descriptions for the 2021 school year. The job descriptions include Director of Curriculum Instruction K-12 and Director of Instructional Technology, Data Management, Special Projects. Letter I, we are recommending the board to abolish the following positions in the 2021 school year. That includes 1, Director of Preschool, 2, Director of Curriculum Instruction 6 through 12, and 3, Director of Curriculum Instruction pre-K-5. That concludes the personnel agenda.
Can I get a motion and a second to accept the personnel agenda?
I'll motion. I'll second.
Are there any comments or questions from board members concerning the personnel agenda? Don't see any. So we have no policy. So Mr. Ferrer, can you take us through finance?
Thank you. All right, starting off with on page 1 of 6, number 1, that's the monthly approval of the bills list and the payroll. Number 2 and 3 are the monthly transfer and board secretary's report. Number 4 is giving the authorization to pay bills beyond June 15th in preparation for the closeout of the current 1920 school year. Resolutions 5, 6, and 7 would be transfers into the reserve accounts up to the maximums outlined. Number 7 is a new reserve account that is being established, and potentially if we have funds to be deposited into, and this is to offset some of the mid-year tuition reserve. It's the tuition reserve and it goes to offset the mid-year tuition changes that we received as a result of certified tuition rates from special schools, private schools for the disabled. Number 8, on page 3 of 6, is the revision to the QPA resolution from last month. The Department of Community Affairs just recently released information with reference to the increase to the bid threshold, so this takes into consideration that. Number 9, this is the annual submission of the NJSIG security grant. Number 10 is the submission by Mr. Bombardier for the ESSA federal grant. Number 11 is a submission by Ms. Perez for the IDEA federal grant. Number 12 is new. It is the CARES funds that flows through the Department of Education to the school districts. Mr. Bombardier is putting together the plan how we're going to utilize those funds, which can be used up until September of 22. 13 is receipt and recommendation for the award of a new food service provider, a new food service contract. The recommendation is being made to Chartwell's based upon the scoring criteria as outlined on page 5 of 6. Number 14 is the recommendation for the abatement of the middle school gym floor as a result of the mercury vapors. In addition to the number 14, on a future agenda, we're going to be making a recommendation for a cooperative purchasing agreement with the provider to do the actual installation. So obviously this is the first step to do the remediation. We're going to go ahead after, with board support, and schedule the pre-construction meetings to start sketching out what the timeline looks like. Number 15 is the approval of the annual approval of the purchasing manual. 16 is the annual approval of the meal prices for the upcoming 2021 school year, based upon the Department of Agriculture's PLE tool. Number 17 is a revision to a resolution that we had last month. After the board adopted the resolution to approve the rates for prescription, we were notified by Brown & Brown that they were able to negotiate with Benecard a second year at no increase. So that is our recommendation. Number 18, this is a resolution outlining the prorated calculation for payments for non-public school students as a result of the aid in lieu of transportation provided. Number 19 is an additional student for the purposes of enrollment for non-resident students of staff members. And that concludes finance.
Can I get a motion and a second to accept the finance agenda?
I'll motion.
Can I get
I'll second.
Are there any questions or comments from the board on finance? Not seeing any. I see some movement, but I don't see any. Okay, now I'd like to turn to public comment on agenda items. I know we've got some things in the chat, so hold that up.
All right. This question is part of the curriculum instruction agenda. Curious to know, how does the board determine which software to approve? I believe Mr. Bombardier already spoke to that, but go ahead, Mr. Bombardier, if you want to add anything.
Sure. Yeah, I think I summarized that maybe right before that question came in, or right after that question came in. The committee does review the programs, the processes that the administration makes a recommendation to the board for approval. And that recommendation for approval is based on the administration working in collaboration with the teachers and the technology committee members to vet the programs, look at the data that's involved in continuing usage of the program, and then also making sure that we're making a diligent effort to preserve our student privacy and our staff privacy as part of that decision-making process.
And I see the comment that you did summarize it after. I guess myself and J.D. Breeze think somewhat similarly in asking the same question.
Great, okay.
Were there any other comments that are in the chat?
We did not receive any other comments on the email, which is public comments at MARSD. There was just another comment that just came in by the same person that said a bit disappointed to hear about reflex math. As Mr. Bombardier explained, it's something that the board and the committee are going to kind of reevaluate based upon, once we kind of have a plan for the 2021 school year. I'll turn it over to Mr. Bombardier if he wants to add anything else.
Yeah, the iReady, the subscription to the iReady instructional platform, each student will have that iReady instructional platform, and that will include math facts and the math fact fluency practice. So, as Mr. Ferreira said, though, if we find that we need to evaluate and bring back reflex math, that is something that the committee will certainly discuss. But being that we are spending money to purchase iReady, the instructional math component for each student, we felt that at this time we would hold off on reflex math, but that doesn't mean that it's out of the question in the future should we find that iReady is not meeting the needs for that fact fluency.
I'm just taking a dramatic pause to see if there are any other questions that are posted. There's a little bit of delay.
Good? Nothing on this end.
Okay. Can you take action on agenda items, Mr. Ferrer?
Thank you. So we're going to take one vote for all four parts of the resolution, of the agenda, Mr. Ahern?
Yes, but I have to abstain from, in the special ed section, I have to abstain page 13 on the service providers, Burlington Special Services. Number 3, placement of classified students from pages 14 to 17. I abstain from all those placements.
So I have page 13, Burlington, and then pages 14 to 17, Mr. Ahern.
Exactly.
Thank you. Ms. Ascoli?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez?
Yes.
Mr. Montone? Let's see if Mr. Montone might be muted.
He's muted.
Hold on a sec. Go ahead, Mr. Montone, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Osborne?
Yes.
Ms. Whalen?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
And Ms. Friedman?
I have to abstain from C&I Part A, the travel agenda, to the part that pertains to me, and yes as to the rest.
So, thank you very much.
Now we go to any unfinished business. So is there any unfinished business from the board? Okay, I don't see any new business from the board. Mr. Montone's somewhat in the shadows, so I can never tell. Okay, I don't see any, and let's see. We go now to public comments relating to any additional matters, so it doesn't have to be on the agenda. I know we have some members of the public, it looks like, on, so I just want to make sure that we give them a moment. Okay, I don't see any public comments relating to non-agenda items. Be it resolved that a closed session be convened for the purpose of discussing privacy, personnel, and legal matters. The subject matter of these discussions will be disclosed to the public when the reason for confidentiality subsides. Although the board cannot guarantee it, the length of the executive session is estimated to be approximately 60 minutes, after which the public meeting of the board shall reconvene and proceed with business. Action may take place. May I have a motion to go and a second to go to executive session?
Motion. I'll second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If we are now in executive session,